Pharaoh's plagues.
Welcome back, Royal Family. It's your girl, Royalty Banks, and I pray that all is well with you today. Well, family, I've been doing some reading and I came across a passage that I would like to share with you today, as I believe it builds on the last message that we talked about in regards to the plague of the belly. So I came across this passage in the Apocrypha. Now, I must warn you, you may be triggered because I was triggered as well. But I am a firm believer that ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So with that being said, let's begin. Okay, Royal Family, so we're going to pick up where the book of Exodus, the second chapter, the 21st verse, left off. And we're going to go into the Apocrypha. And we're going to look at Jasher, the 76th chapter, starting at the 21st verse. And it reads, "And Moses related to Reuel that he had fled from Egypt, and that he reigned 40 years over Cush, and that they afterward had taken the government from him, and had sent him away in peace with honor and with presents. And when Reuel had heard the words of Moses, Reuel, also known as Jethro, said within himself, I will put this man into the prison house, whereby I will consolate the children of Cush, for he has fled from them. And they took and put him inside the prison house. And Moses was in prison 10 years. And while Moses was in the prison house, Zipporah, the daughter of Reuel, took pity over him and supported him with bread and water all the time. And all the children of Israel were yet in the land of Egypt, serving the Egyptians in all manner of hard work. And the hand of Egypt continued in severity over the children of Israel in those days. At that time, the Lord smote Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he afflicted with the plague of leprosy from the sole of the foot to the crown of his head, owing to the cruel treatment of the children of Israel. Was this plague at that time from the Lord upon Pharaoh, king of Egypt? For the Lord had hearkened to the prayer of his people, the children of Israel, and their cry reached him on account of their hard work. Still, his anger did not turn from them, and the hand of Pharaoh was still stretched out against the children of Israel. And Pharaoh hardened his neck before the Lord, and he increased his yoke over the children of Israel, and embittered their lives with all manner of hard work. And when the Lord had inflicted the plague upon the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, he asked his wise men and sorcerers to cure him. Family, prepare to be triggered. And his wise men and sorcerers said unto him, that if the blood of little children were put into the wounds, he would be healed. And Pharaoh hearkened to them and sent his ministers to Goshen to the children of Israel to take their little children. And Pharaoh's ministers went and took the infants of the children of Israel from the bosoms of their mothers by force. And they brought them to Pharaoh daily, a child each day. And the physicians killed them and applied them to the plague. Thus they did all the days. And the number of the children which Pharaoh slew was 375. But the Lord hearkened not to the physicians of the king of Egypt, and the plague went on increasing mightily, and Pharaoh was 10 years afflicted with that plague. Still, the heart of Pharaoh was more hardened against the children of Israel, And at the end of 10 years, the Lord continued to afflict Pharaoh with destructive plagues. And the Lord smote him with a bad tumor and sickness at the stomach. And that plague turned to a severe boil. Family, I think this is picking up from where our last video picked up about this inflamed belly. And it continues. At that time, the two ministers of Pharaoh came from the land of Goshen, where all the children of Israel were, and went to the house of Pharaoh and said to them, "We have seen the children of Israel slacken in their work and negligent in their labor." And when Pharaoh heard the words of the ministers, his anger was kindled against the children of Israel exceedingly, for he was greatly grieved at his bodily pain. And he answered and said, "Now that the children of Israel know that I am ill, they turn and scoff at us. Now therefore, harness my chariot for me, and I will go myself to Goshen, and will see the scoff of the children of Israel, with which they are deriding me." So his servants harnessed the chariot for him, and they took and made him ride upon a horse, for he was not able to ride of himself. And he took with him 10 horsemen and 10 footmen, and went to the children of Israel to Goshen. And when they had come to the border of Egypt, the king's horse passed into a narrow place, elevated in the hollow part of the vineyard, fenced on both sides, and low, plain country being on the other side. And the horses ran rapidly in that place and pressed each other. And the other horses pressed the king's horse. And the king's horse fell into the low plain, while the king was riding upon it. And when he fell, the chariot turned over the king's face, and the horse lay upon the king. And the king cried out, for his flesh was very sore. And the flesh of the king was torn from him, and his bones were broken, and he could not ride, for this thing was from the Lord to him. For the Lord had heard the cries of his people, the children of Israel, and their affliction. And his servants carried him upon their shoulders, a little at a time, and they brought him back to Egypt. And the horsemen who were with him came also back to Egypt, and they placed him in his bed, and the king knew that his end was come to die. So Apparanith, the queen, his wife, came and cried before the king, and the king wept a great weeping with her. And all his nobles and servants came on that day and saw the king in the affliction, and wept a great weeping with him. And the princes of the king and all the counselors advised the king to cause one to reign in his stead in the land, whomsoever he should choose from his sons. And the king had 3 sons and 2 daughters, which Apparanith, the queen, his wife, had borne to him, besides the king's children of concubines. And these were their names: the first, Othri; the second, Adikam; and the third, Morion. And their sisters, the name of the elder, Bathia; and of the other, Akuzi. And Othri, the firstborn of the king, was an idiot, precipitate, and hurried in his words. But Adikam was a cunning and wise man, and knowing in all the wisdom of Egypt, but of unseemly aspect, thick in flesh, and very short in stature. His height was 1 cubit. And when the king saw Adikam, his son, intelligent and wise in all things, the king resolved that he should be the king in his stead after his death. And he took him for a wife, Gedudah, daughter of Abilat, and he was 10 years old. And she bore him 4 sons. And he afterward went and took 3 wives, and begat 8 sons and 3 daughters. And the disorder greatly prevailed over the king, and his flesh stank like the flesh of a carcass cast upon the field in summertime during the heat of the sun. And when the king saw that his sickness had greatly strengthened itself over him, he ordered his son Adikam to be brought to him, and they made him king over the land in his place. And at the end of 3 years, the king died in shame, disgrace, and disgust. And his servants carried him and buried him in the sepulchre of the kings of Egypt in Zoan, Mizraim. But they embalmed him not, as was usual with kings, for his flesh was putrid, and they could not approach to embalm him on account of the stench. So they buried him in haste. For this evil was from the Lord to him, for the Lord had paid him back evil for the evil which in his days he had done to Israel. And he died with terror and with shame, and his son Adikam reigned in his place. Well, family, judgment is here. The hand of the Most High, the arm is being revealed, and these plagues are increasing. All right, fam. I know that was a lot of information, but I just wanted to share that with you today. And if you get an opportunity to read that chapter, do so, because it's a lot of information in there that is beneficial for the body of Christ. And as always, fam, I love you. Stay faithful, stay true, be you.